Greetings, gamers, and welcome to part 23 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9 Path of Radiance. In today's episode, I have a bit of story to go over and hopefully get into the 15th chapter, which is probably one of the more interesting chapters in this game, because it is a desert chapter, and we all know what that means in Fire Emblem, don't we? Free stuff. One thing I will say about my resentment towards the Laguz, that is mostly a gameplay-oriented thing. I actually love, and I mean love, the Laguz when it comes to the story of both the Tellius games, and a lot of that has to do with their kingdoms actually being run by kings, and their kingdoms being run in very much the same way that you would almost think like an ideal world would run. Like the strongest, the most capable, the most intelligent, the most brilliant. Those are the ones who rule, not the conniving, crooked, con artist politicians that we have today, right? So moving on. Thank all of you for coming, my fellow Laguz kings. It's been decades since all of us were gathered in one place. I would extend my gratitude to King Degincia of Goldoa, who arranged this meeting place at short notice. It was nothing, King Kanagus. Fellow kings and countrymen, attend to my words. As you no doubt have heard, Dayan has invaded Crimea and overrun her. Of course, Crimea is a Bjork nation. However, since the time of her founding, she has made every effort to engage the Laguz with honor and dignity. Never has this been more true than during the 30-year reign of good King Raymond. During this era, Gallia and Crimea initiated many ambitious cultural projects in an attempt to bring our divided people closer. Yet one man has always reviled our work, the Dayan King, Ashnard. Why he took to this most recent course, however, I know not. Ashnard's actions are monstrous. His army has put much of Crimea to the sword. Her people live in terror. Her king lies dead. And now, the kingdom forces continue the Dayan forces continue their ruinous march and cross the border into Laguz territory, into Gallia. That trespass, O King of Lions, is because your country chooses to harbor King Crimea's orphan, is it not? Yes, that is the justification they would present. But the Princess of Crimea is no longer in Gallia, is she? Your spies are ever as efficient. King Tibarn of Phoenicius. As you say, the princess has already departed for Begnion. I know this only because she came to the aid of a ship carrying Begnion's apostle. Aha, so Princess Alencia is safe and in contact with the Begnion Empire? The news gladdens my heavy heart. I do believe that Dayan yet has this information. If word got out that the Princess of Crimea has been granted sanctuary in Begnion, Dayan might halt its invasion of Gallia. Your information is dated, Hawk King. Have your legendary eyes and ears abandoned you after all these years? You have something you wish to say? Would you be so kind as to explain yourself, King Kilvis? Princess Alencia barely escaped Crimea with her life, and then fled to Gallia. And yet a certain king of beasts there, one on whom she had pinned all her hope, chose not to support her. With nowhere else to turn, the princess and her retinue spent 2 long months at sea, arriving in Begnion mere days ago. Dayan knows of these events as well, and the king has dispatched a team of hunters to make a corpse of the girl. And that, dear kings, is the latest news, at least to the best of my poor knowledge. Dayan knows the princess is in Begnion. King Kilvis, how did you come to possess this information? Why, there's no trick to it. I just perk up my ears and point them in the right direction. You expect us to believe that a stray wind carried it to your ears? This is an odd tale, Naysala. Do you think so? Well, there is one trick to information gathering that I know. Shall I share it with you? If it involves dealing with human scum, I'll pass. Foregoing my Laguz pride is not something I'm willing to do. Ha! Is that not always the way of Phoenicius, to cling to those last tattered remnants of pride? Instead of proclaiming that you will attack none but Begnion ships, just admit that you don't have the power to do more. What did you say? Both of you will desist at once. King Naysala of Kilvis, your actions of late can indeed be judged as too extreme. Black Dragon, King of Goldoa, what do you pretend to know of my actions? Please enlighten me. I would remind you of the Bjork ship you attacked in Phoenician waters and left stranded in Goldoa territory. Oh, that. Nay, Sala, you lying crow. You've been sneaking about in my territory again, have you? I heard from my own son, Kurthnaga, that a Bjork resembling Princess Crimea was on board that ship. It is true. What? King Kilvis, you? Don't act surprised. I have no intention of ruling some tiny island nation forever. I will make Kilvis a name to remember. To that end, no amount of gold is enough. Laguz or Bjork, I care not. If the pay is right, there's nothing I won't do. I care not about the reach of your ambition, but you should choose your methods with more care. What good would it do you to expand your domain only to find enemies at your every border? I will take your words to heart for the time being. And you too, King Phoenicius. What good will your piracy do you, if it earns the wrath of Begnion? Continue at this pace, and there's no telling when the hostilities will end. Until the people of Begnion apologize for the slaughter of our brother Hurons, I will do no such thing. Prince Rayson of Serenus, are you of the same mind? Those humans burned Serenus Forest and killed my people. No amount of human blood can slake my thirst for vengeance. For my siblings, for my countrymen, I demand justice. I cannot even return my bedridden father to our forest home. I am no soldier. I know nothing of war, so King Phoenicius acts in my stead. I am most grateful to him, and I would not see him stop until Begnion has paid. Blood leads only to blood, and violence begets violence. Nothing more. Revenge is simply another name for murder. And you, King of Lions, what will you do about your home of Gallia? Now that you know Daeon's feint towards Gallia is merely another move in his game of war, how will you act? They've made no formal declaration of war. Until they do, we watch and wait. If it's the first step towards eradicating all human scum, Phoenicius will help you destroy Daeon. No, unless this becomes a true war among all nations, I want you to stay your hand. As long as Gallia is protected by the Sea of Trees, we can stave off Daeon's attacks. Ah, the luxury of a large nation. You would waste a chance to expand your territory just to maintain the status quo? Sad. I agree with King Gallia. If we were to form a Laguz alliance against Daeon, we would drive Begnion to Daeon's side and lose a valuable ally. The flames of war cannot be fanned haphazardly. Above all, we must think of Leiron's medallion. Its location is unknown, but it still exists. We know this, and as long as it does, we cannot allow any war that could stand to engulf all our nations. Do you understand, Laguz kings? I beg of you, do not forget this. And that is a save for me. Of course, as I said before, that Chapter 10 prisoner release is going to stay there. Chapter 15, The Feral Frontier. Castle Kilvis. Oh my, if it isn't young Prince Serenus. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nalucci, you're looking well. And feeling well too, thank you very much. This old crow's as spry as ever, hee hee. Tell me though, how fares your father, King Lorazé? The same as ever. Since that terrible day, he remains abed. He seldom rises anymore. I'm not surprised. In the span of a few days, he lost his family, his friends, and almost all of his countrymen. Yes. And yet we're blessed that you are still with us. Prince Rayson, if there's anything this doddering old bird can do for you, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you, I appreciate your kind sentiment. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Rayson. Nalucci, you can talk ancient history later. Leave us at once. Yes, of course. I'm sure you're much to talk about. Much to say. I'll just take my leave of you. Please, Prince Rayson, make yourself at home. Old Nalucci's always been fond of House Serenus. When he heard the White Prince himself was gracing us with a visit, he could barely contain his joy. So, Prince, what's this all about? We haven't seen your face around here in quite a long time, and I'm naturally quite curious as to your intentions. Your attitude during the Goldoa meeting piqued my interest. What is it that you're after, Naysala? Why do you provoke Tibarn? You came all this way for that? Are you serious? Do not mock me, Crow King. Tibarn is my father's guardian. If not for him, we might have suffered the end of House Serenus itself. I will not brook any insults to him. Oh, I see. So rather than ally yourself with me, your trusted companion of old, you would side with this new protector? That's an unfortunate shift in attitude. I trust you remember that when you and your sister were young, it was I, and not Tibarn, who watched over you. Any change in my bearing can be laid at your roost, Naysala. After all, you, my old friend, are the one who continues to engage in commerce with my enemy, with humans. If you were to change your ways, I'm sure we could rebuild the relationship the two of us once shared. Oh no, that I could never do. You see, humans are essential to the fulfillment of my ambitions. You've changed, Naysala. If this is the path you've chosen, I've nothing left to say. I doubt you could ever understand what it means to guard Kilfa's prince, to protect an entire country. King Naysala, Duke Tenos of the Begnion Imperial Senate has arrived. Bring him in. Your Majesty, just now I brushed up against the most splendid specimen. Was that a Serenus noble? Oh, they're supposed to be extinct. And what if it were? Oh, I was right. Wonderful. My eyes did not deceive me. Those dazzling white wings, and that shimmering hair sparkling like falling golden dust. That is the crystallization of beauty in its purest form. Duke Oliver, can we please discuss the business at hand? Per your request, we have appropriated several pieces of art from the ships of Duke Gados. Yes, and you will be compensated as promised. But right now there is something else that I simply must have. Really? Another request? What can we purloin for you today? More art, perhaps? Oh, something much more stunning, and if you agree to my proposition, I will double your normal fee. That is a most generous offer. Tell me, what is it you desire? Desire? But surely you've already guessed. Maynal Cathedral. Story is brimming in this one. Meeting with the apostle was fine, but all she did was pay us and give us another job. She answered no questions. I wonder what she's planning. That cargo, I can't help but believe that there were living creatures inside, but what do you suppose the apostle intends to do with them? I don't know, Titania. Are all nobles and royals like this? They have plans and paperwork for every little thing, and their speech is as confusing as it is tedious. But Ike, the other nobles we know are different. There's Princess Alencia and King Gallia, and the Dragon Prince, too. All of them have been so nice and friendly and easy to talk to. Perhaps the rudeness of the upper echelon is unique to the Bjork class system. Princess Alencia was raised in special circumstances. Maybe that's why she's so different. Bah! I could never get accustomed to the culture of Bjork nobles. You are a Bjork. Get accustomed. Ike, I'm here to report the results from the last battle. Ooh, earned 10,000 gold. I was missing a few grand. I like that. I appreciate that. 180 bonus experience points. Titania was, of course, the MVP, and a new ally. Maka loathes the bench. We suffered no casualty, and no one was seriously injured. Everyone was at their best. That concludes my report. Excuse me. Goodbye, Soren. See you. Of course, info first and foremost. You are from the northwest nation of Crimea, are you not? You have my condolences for the terrible misfortune that has befallen your country and people. Yet you remain blessed. Fate has brought you here to the Grand Temple Manor, to the splendor of Begnion, grandest of all the nations of Telios. By the way, I hear you are traveling north to the Grand Desert. There are ancient ruins there, you know. There are the remnants of a race known as the Zunanma, who come from a civilization that predates our own. I'm sure you will enjoy the sensation of being immersed in such primordial surroundings. Yeah, it'll be a real picnic. Oh yes, picnics are indeed nice, but a word of caution. Studying the ruins from afar is one thing, but you would be well advised to keep your distance, for safety's sake.
It's said that there's a bandit stronghold near the northwest ruins, and we hear occasional reports of strange figures wandering the dunes in the northeast. Be careful.
Interesting. I had forgotten that he is giving you a hint at a recruitable unit that can only be recruited by 2 units in your party and only in the northeast. How are your preparations progressing? They're underway. We leave within the hour. Your next mission takes you to the Grand Desert. You must choose your companions with care. The desert is just a large patch of sandy soil, is it not? With one major difference. Unlike sandy soil, you'll not find solid earth near the surface. You could dig and find only more sand. Those on foot and horseback may find it difficult to move around. I see. I'm sure that Soren knows much about these things, but... Has something befallen Master Soren? I don't know if he's feeling ill or just moping about. It all started when we arrived in Begnion. Oh. Be that as it may, it won't hurt for me to have this information. Can you tell me more? Of course. There's little water in the desert and the soil is very dry. Few trees or grasses grow there, which means there are no groves or anything else which would provide cover. And as I mentioned before, those on foot or horseback will find the sand slows their pace considerably. The exceptions are magic users, staff wielders, and thieves. Such people will not be affected to so large a degree. Thieves are agile, so I understand why they would be unaffected, but those skilled in the magical arts, that doesn't make sense. I once heard an explanation from a magic user that I know. He claimed that the spirits he employed flew before him and cleared the sand from his path. However, considering the source, I'm not sure how much of that is truth.
Who is the source?
Prime Minister Sephiran.
Would he play a joke like that?
Well, the Prime Minister is a very amusing man, but please, allow me to continue my explanation.
You know, it's actually kind of funny. I think Sephiran is the kind of guy who would never tell a lie, period, regardless. Knowing him just from the Tellius games in general, since I have, that hindsight. But because of that, and because of the fantastical life he's lived, and how long he's lived, and everything he's seen and done, he could tell his stories. They could be totally true, and the average person would just say, yeah, you're joking.
What else? Others who are unaffected by sand are Pegasus Knights, Wyvern Riders, and other flying units. Oh, and Laguz too. Terrain features don't seem to affect them much in either form, although they will be slowed some.
You said Laguz, didn't you? Almost everyone here says subhuman.
Well, of course. Both Bjork and Laguz are both living things. Every precious life was created to be equal by the blessed God. The fact that there are still those who persecute Laguz in the land of the goddess, it is deplorable.
Are you of a noble house?
Yes, I am. One must be of a noble house, noble birth to serve the goddess.
But I thought that all nobles were half-crazed fools who can't speak the truth. You seem quite honest.
I'll take that as a compliment. Oh, and one last thing.
What is it?
The desert contains the remnants of more than one lost civilization. Rumor has it that treasures from those times still lie undiscovered beneath the shifting sands. Those with good luck may come across such treasures during battle.
The Grand Temple, luxury and gorgeousness as far as the eye can see. If a scoundrel like myself can find employment in a place like this, I guess my luck hasn't abandoned me after all. But for all the glitter and gold, there's an equal amount of dangerous work. That I could do without. Maybe I can use my prone-to-illness ploy. Yes, I think I can arrange to work about 1 out of every 5 jobs or so. And now that I've a fixed income, it's time to visit the local inns and see what games of chance are about.
Evening.
Did you happen to hear any of that?
You were talking out loud.
Loudly. I wasn't being serious. I am an extremely diligent man. Yes, I am. Those peddlers you were with. You were in debt to them, right?
Huh? How do you know that? When we took out that group, your debt vanished.
Yes, you're right. That was a tremendous help. Thanks much. Come now, you can't believe that the world is as forgiving as that, or that we are so foolish. What? Debts are debts, and you have many. Those peddlers weren't the only people who were owed coin by you, right? We can't have debt collectors hounding the company day in and day out. My staff officer repaid the rest of the money you owe. That's very kind of you. It was from the company coffers. You, my friend, are in our debt. You fight to repay the Grail mercenaries. But payment will be deducted from your wages for quite some time. It seems you're working for free, friend. Oh. Until your debts are completely repaid, don't even think about leaving the company. Or getting sick. Right then, I trust you'll do your best. What a mess. Oh, nuts. That's one of the only times that I would humbly have to agree with Ike completely. So, I have made a couple of decisions. Ike is not going to be attaining an A support with Titania. That is the longest taking support in this game, but he does have one unit who joins very late in this game, whom he supports, whom I don't think I've ever seen their particular support conversation. So I'm going to be doing that. So that means Mist and Titania will probably be getting an A support. Yes, definitely. Mordecai, she's going to get a B support with Mordecai because why not? I don't think Mordecai supports Leave. No. So, yes, I mean, like I said before, not going to be main fixtures of my team, but you never know, right? I might need him for quite a few chapters to come, especially because the Laguz are basically pre-promotes. So, let's just keep using them, shall we? Other than that, however, I'm going to be doing the rest of my managing off screen. I will see you all in just a moment. All right, gamers, I am back, and I have one thing I'd like to do, and that is particularly I would like to forge a weapon. So that weapon is going to be particularly for a unit I'm getting very soon. And this weapon is going to be called the Xavier. Perfect. I also think that it would be nice if this weapon was yellow. That's going to go to the Convoy. That'll be a great weapon to use, particularly for the unit that I am thinking of. Everybody else has been fully kitted out. Time to end. Tell me, Soren, are you alright? Recently, ever since we reached Begnion, in fact, you seem depressed. Is that so? How odd. Well, I can think of nothing specific that's bothering me. Well, if you say so. So, it's time for the desert. Which is the best direction to enter from? Soren? Yes, what is it? Alright, now I know there's something going on. I'm sorry, I was thinking. What is it you wanted? Well, I was going to ask you for directions, but it's no longer necessary. It looks like we're being met. Ah. Who are you? Answer me. We're mercenaries. We were hired to take care of a group of bandits operating in this area. More of the Senator's dogs. You cast us as thieves so you can murder us and hide your guilt, but we will not be defeated. Mark my words, the day will come when all slaves are free, and then you will pay for your crimes. What on earth are you talking about? No more useless words. Come, my brothers, take them. The Grand Desert. What? We're facing Laguz? I don't like the look of this. Laguz or no, it doesn't change the fact that they are brigands. Do not lower your guard. I know what I'm doing. Everyone, watch your footing in the sand. Take care and fight well. Okay, so a lot of units are going to be removed from play. I'm only going to be bringing 7. Now, Leith and or Mordecai has to come this direction. I was thinking about sending them both, as they're probably both going to be needed for the sake of what I have to do with them. So with that being said, I'm going to put both of them as far right as I possibly can. The only other unfortunate thing is that I kind of want to send Volk with them. This chapter, I like leaving as many Laguz possible alive, but the problem with that is, and this is a big problem, I also like gathering all of the items that are in this chapter. There are plenty of guides out there that will help you know exactly where to go and how to find everything. I plan on using one of those because I don't remember off the top of my head where everything is. I'm still kind of concerned, however, with how I'm going to take care of defending Volk, because he will be attacked. I was thinking about bringing both Marcia and Jill. The problem is I'm fairly certain that Marcia is two-rounded by a lot of these units in this chapter. Jill, however, is a little bit more defensive, and with either of these weapons, well, I mean, the Steel Lance does weigh her down, unfortunately. So the Iron Lance is pretty well the only thing she can defend herself with, otherwise she's weighed down. I'm not entirely sure. Jill is going to be joining the right party. I am not going to be using her with the left party, which does kind of mean that I'm only going left with 3 units. That seems like a misstep, but it's going to become readily relevant as to why I'm going to do that sooner or later. First and foremost, Miss Titania and Ike can deal with pretty much everybody in this chapter by themselves. Secondly, another reason why I'm doing that is because I'm actually going to be holding them back a little bit at first. I'll move them up as I can, but like I said, I'm going to try. I'm really going to try to save some of these guys alive. Now, I was under the impression that on difficult mode, some of these Laguz had one-use Laguz stones, but I guess that's a Maniac mode only exclusive. You can actually steal them if you are quick. It's not easy to do, but it can be done. Now here is Morum, the boss of this chapter. He is a Tiger Laguz. None of these guys are feral, so it makes you wonder exactly what's going on here. He does have a demi-band, a band that when equipped allows its wearer, good grief, to maintain animal form at all times. All abilities are slightly lower while using the band. And as you can see, this is a vast difference compared to the previous user of the demi-band. He's getting -3 strength, -2 skill, and -1 speed, defense, and resistance, whereas the other user that we saw was getting other minuses. It's just dependent on what Laguz you're using. He has no skills to speak of, so hopefully it won't be that difficult of a fight. But who knows? I'm kind of a little bit weary about how this is going to go. Only because, and I have to admit this, because I am bringing a lot less units than I would technically like to. But granted, I don't really have any other units I'm willing to train. I don't have really any other units that could deal with this chapter, right? All right, it is time to begin. So as a precursor to my playing this map, I did want to directly demonstrate exactly where all the items in this chapter are. So first and foremost, there is a physic in this space, this 3 tile wide space. Definitely going to be getting that. There is a boots in this 3 tile space, definitely going to be getting that. There is a shine tome in this 3 tile space. I will be getting that, but obviously because I'm not going to be using any light magic users in this playthrough, that is just going to be something that is sold, which is nice. You always gotta love gold, right? There is a guard. A guard in this 4-tile wide singular space here. It is a skill that allows you to acquire the skill guard in the base. It's actually a really good skill, one at which I was thinking about giving to Titania. Actually, I think that's definitely what I'm going to do. I think that would be awesome for her. There is a coin here in these 3 tiles. And then there is a silver blade in these 3 tiles. Well, this 3-tile space. If I could make it so that my cursor wouldn't move around haphazardly, right? There is a statue fragment in this 3-tile wide space. This is, again, another sellable. I skipped this one in Prisoner Release in Chapter 10 because it is a super useless stat boosting item. It's great for selling, though. 4,000 gold is 4,000 gold. Am I right? Down here, I believe it is... These 2 spaces is a white gem. And then this space particularly is where you must go with either Leith or Mordecai in order to recruit a unit that will show up in this dune. I can't wait to get that unit because he is definitely going to be joining my team. I am so excited. I've never actually used this unit. And the reason being is because, well, you kind of have limited party members and limited resources to train this, that, and so these other said units. And I have used him before, slightly, remotely, but I've never actually made him a permanent member of my team. With all that being said, though, and my little bit of a synopsis of all of the items' locations in this map, the treasure hunt will begin very soon. I want to thank you for joining me because this is that time of episode where I must leave off the episode and see you all later. If you like my content, please upvote and follow or like and subscribe, depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.